Dear students of class 10A and 10B, today's chapter 13, topic United Nations. Points: the General Assembly, the Security Council, the composition of General Assembly and Security Council, powers and functions of the General Assembly and the Security Council, and anticipation between the two organs, means anticipation between the General Assembly and the Security Council. Number one, the General Assembly. The General Assembly, my dear student, is one of the most important organs of the United Nations. Why? Because it is called World Parliament. Why? Because all the countries who are the participants, they are the members of the General Assemblies. That's why General Assembly plays an important role. The work of the United Nations is determined by the will of the majority of the members as expressed in resolutions adopted by the Assembly. This Assembly means General Assembly. And while the decisions of the Assembly have legally binding force for governments, they carry the weight of world opinion on major international issues and the moral authority of the world community. Now, what is about its composition? All members of the United Nations are the members of the General Assembly, as I mentioned earlier. All members of the United Nations are the members of the General Assembly. That's why it is known as World Parliament. Short question may come from here. Each state has 5 representatives in the General Assembly, but each state has only one vote. Besides, the regular session of the General Assembly begins each year on the third Tuesday in September and continues usually until the third week of December. General Assembly's decision on important matters are made by 2/3 majority. These matters include the election of the non-permanent members, but it is done in consultation with the Security Council. Security Council admission of new members, suspension or expulsion of members, and decisions on other questions are made by a majority vote, a majority of members present and voting. And next one, powers and functions of the General Assembly. There are some powers and functions of the General Assembly, as I mentioned earlier, but once again I would like to repeat because some students wanted to know some points from this. That's why I am de-explaining this point. To discuss, make and recommendation on any question within the scope of the Charter or affecting the powers and functions of the organ of the United Nations. That means the General Assembly takes all the decisions without harming the interests of the United Nations. For that reason, sometimes the General Assembly has to consult the Security Council, another most important organ of the General Assembly. The General Assembly is supposed to consider and make recommendations on the principles of cooperation in maintaining international peace, international understanding. General Assembly is supposed to establish cordial relations with member countries, and at the same time it can recommend for the peaceful settlement or any disputes of the world. It receives and considers reports from the Security Council. Sometimes the reports which are sent to the General Assembly by Security Council, the General Assembly is supposed to give it importance. And another point, the General Assembly is supposed to consider and approve the budget of the United Nations. Contributions among the members, all the members contributed a lot while passing the budget in the United Nations, in the General Assembly. Their cooperation is required. So all the members of the General Assembly, they extend their cooperation during the process of passing the budget. To elect the non-permanent members of the Security Council, to Economic and Social Council, Trusteeship Council, and to elect the judges of the International Court of Justice. These all are done by the General Assembly. Besides, one of the most important work which is done by General Assembly, that is, General Assembly appoints the Secretary General of the United Nations on the recommendation of the Security Council. That means the Secretary General cannot be appointed directly by the General Assembly. The General Assembly can appoint the Secretary General of the United Nations, but in consultation with the Security Council. That's why it is said that these two organs, the General Assembly and the Security Council, they work steadily, they work together with a view to establish cordial relationship among the member states, with a view to solve international crises, international problems, with a view to establish cordial relations, with a view to establish international cooperation among the nation states, and with a view to establish a world free of political tension, free of confrontation, and is supposed to establish brotherhood, friendly relations throughout the whole world. So these are the most important powers and functions of the General Assembly. And next one, powers and composition of the Security Council. The Security Council, there are 15 members. The Security Council consists of 15 members. It has 5 permanent members. Who are they? The members, the countries are Britain, USA, France, Russia, and China. These are the five most powerful 5 countries, 5 major countries who are the permanent members of the Security Council. And besides, there are 15 members also. There are also 15 members of the Security Council. The main work of them is to represent from various regions, and all other non-permanent members like Afro-Asian countries, 5, Latin American countries 2, West European and other countries 2, and East European countries 1. And the 10 non-permanent members are elected by the General Assembly by a 2/3 majority for a term of 2 years. 10 non-permanent members. Besides, a retiring member is not eligible for immediate re-election. Once a member is retired, is not considered to be re-elected immediately. The presidency of the council rotates monthly, and according to the English alphabetical listening of its member states, it rotates monthly, and each and every member is given chance if he leaves good impression as a member. In that case, that very member can be re-elected, but the process is time consuming. And next one, veto power. Each member of the Security Council has 1 vote. Each member of the Security Council has only 1 vote. And decisions on procedural matters are made by an affirmative vote of 9 members, including the concurring votes of all 5 permanent members. The negative vote of a permanent member is called a veto. The council is powerless to act if any of the 5 permanent members uses the veto power. However, abstinence from voting does not amount to a negative vote or veto. That means in Security Council there are 5 permanent members. Suppose 5 permanent members came to a conclusion that they would solve one international crisis. By way of solving the international crisis, they establish their image as as very strong and very effective permanent members of the Security Council. But afterwards, after a few years later, while solving another international crisis, 4 permanent members gave consent to solve that problem in such a way they all agreed to solve that problem by adapting the process they adapted, by following that process they adapted. But they agreed to solve it by that way, but suddenly one permanent member, by making them in the dark, used veto power. Other 4 members, they could not have any knowledge that one permanent member of the Security Council is going to use his veto power, use her veto power. Already they had consented. They had consented, but one member did not consent. Although he agreed with other 4 members that that problem would be solved by the process they had adopted or by the policy they had adopted, but suddenly one member used her veto. But as soon as a member would use her veto, there is no way to solve the crisis which was going to be solved by the 5 permanent members. That means one permanent member gave veto or used veto means the solution, there is no solution, but there is problem, more and more problems, and until the problem is solved, the 4 permanent members have to talk to another member. Why did she use the veto power? As soon as the 5 permanent members agreed to solve the problems, once again another permanent member used his veto. Suppose while solving one issue of Manchurian crisis, one permanent member China gave veto, one permanent member Russia gave veto. Then in solving the case of Lithuania, suppose I am giving this example. In solving the case of Lithuania, one permanent member that time used her veto. She is France. France gave her veto. But there is no hard and fast rule for each and every permanent member whether they can use her veto right. At any time they can use their veto power. But it is depending on how and in which way, how they could use their veto power and how and why are they using veto. Why that very member is using her veto power. Is she benefited with that vote she casts? I think sometimes they may be benefited with this. The other country may provocate them. The other country may win over them. In that case, they can use veto power and create and make the matter more and more complicated. So the political crisis which was going to be solved by using the veto power by one permanent member, the matter can be more and more complicated. That's why before using veto power, each and every permanent member should give written consent that no one would use her veto power while solving that international crisis. Up to this, my dear students, thank you.